Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Lakers. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, yesterday was a pretty big game yesterday in the playoffs between the Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies. It was actually a game I saw from beginning to end, because it was one of the earlier games. Some of these later games, man, the NBA with some of these later games, especially from people not watching some of these games in the States, man, is ridiculous how late it is. But anyway, I was watching that game. Now, what was the expectation going into that game? Going into that game, I think almost all of us would have assumed that the Lakers were going to definitely beat a shorthanded Memphis Grizzlies team. And if you look at the list of players that were out of that game, of course, you have their best player in Ja Morant, and I'm getting this from the ESPN Grizzlies injury report. Ja Morant, he was ruled out of Wednesday's game. Of course, we have Jake LaRavia. He was also out. Steven Adams, their big man, with a knee issue, he was out. And Brandon Clark, a power forward, he was out. Right. So basically, you were facing a lot of their second string guys in that game. Now, here's the interesting thing about the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies are one of the very few teams that when their star player is out of the lineup, they play extremely well. And one would have thought that the Lakers and the coaching staff of the Lakers would have been aware of this, and they would have known to basically come out, and try to seize that game from the very start and punch them right in the mouth. But instead, that's not what happened. If you watch that game, the Lakers kind of were going through the motions. They didn't really have a lot of energy. And the Memphis Grizzlies, funny enough, were playing with a lot of desperation and a lot of energy. You could tell the way that they were playing. These guys knew that if they go down 0-2 to the Lakers at home, most likely they were going to be swept. Jaren Jackson Jr. was basically a monster in that game. I didn't even know the guy could hit threes, and he just recently won the Defensive Player of the Year. So congratulations to him. He finished that game with 18 points, 9 rebounds. He hit a three, which, again, surprised me. He only shot 41% from the field, but his activity was there. Of course, Desmond Bane, he also played very well. Xavier Tillman, he chipped in with 22 points. And I think he was actually the player of the game because he was the one that was interviewed at the end of the game. Luke Kennard, former Clipper, he came off the bench. He had 13 points, hit 3 3-pointers coming off the bench, made 2 of his free throws. David Roddy, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He played pretty well. He's a big body. He hit 3 3-pointers in that game. And basically, the Memphis Grizzlies led from wire to wire. Now, here's what I think probably the Lakers were thinking. I think the Lakers thought, well, we just beat this team in game 1. They're without their best player. These guys are pretty much just going to go out there and capitulate to us, and they're going to lay down, and we're just going to walk all over them, which was a big mistake, right? It was a big mistake and the wrong assumption to make in that type of situation. When you have a golden opportunity like that, you seize it. Why? Because number one, it allows you to end the series much sooner, which can then ensure you some extra days of rest heading into round 2. But if you lose a game like game 2, a game you were supposed to win, you now all of a sudden elongate the series. And now all of a sudden a series that was supposed to be finished in 4 or possibly 5 could possibly go to 6 games, or dare I say even 7 games. You're going to give the Memphis Grizzlies more time for players like Ja Morant, who, when I just looked at the injury report, he's listed as day-to-day. So he's going to get more rest. If I look at the NBA schedule right now, I believe that, let me just take a quick glance at it. I believe that the Lakers should be playing, what's today, Thursday? They should probably be playing on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So, they're just giving Ja Morant and these guys more time to rest, and ultimately they're giving them more time to build their confidence, right? And if you listen to the game and you listen to what's the guy's name, Dylan Brooks, he was talking the most trash out of everybody. And at one point you could see that he really got under the skin of LeBron James, and he was going up the court. And LeBron just finally got fed up with his antics, and he was just like, hey, man, watch your mouth and blah, 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 and all of those different things, right? So he really got under his skin. And funny enough, kind of looking at the news this morning, talking about the sports news, obviously, it seems like Dylan Brooks' antics have, begin to irk. It started to irk a lot of people. I just listened to a segment on Undisputed where Shannon Sharp pretty much leaned into, he went off on Dylan Brooks. Like, basically who are you talking to, bro? Like, how dare you talk to LeBron or whatever it is. But these guys, the Memphis Grizzlies, we already knew this about this team. They don't really care who they're playing against. They don't care, right? They don't care. They're going to trash talk you. They're going to want you to prove it. They don't care what you've done. That's just the entire attitude of the team. John Morant and all of these guys are the exact same way. They're going to antagonize you. They don't care about the name on the back of your jersey. And to me, I think it was a blown opportunity. Now, of course, some people are going to say, "Hey, man, you're just saying that because you're a Clippers fan." Whatever. These are the gnats and the annoyances that we have in the audience. But the fact of the matter is, this was a blown opportunity. A blown opportunity. Why? Because they didn't have any of their best players. And you had all of your best players. Now, some people say, well, Anthony Davis didn't play well, which brings me to another point. And it was something that I'm noticing, and I really don't understand why this is the case. Have you noticed that whenever the Lakers lose, it's like there always has to be some type of drama, and we always got to look for who to blame. I've noticed this. I was watching the news this morning. I was looking at Keyshawn and Max. They're showing Jay Williams. Keyshawn is there blaming this guy. The next guy's blaming this guy. It's like this is the only team where from game to game, you're always looking for who to blame and whose fault is it, who's this, who's not stepping up. And this, it's never like, okay, they didn't play well. We're going to lick our wounds, re-strategize, get refocused, and then come back and play better in the next game. No, it's always, well, we got to point this finger. It was this guy. Why isn't this guy stepping up? And I think Laker fans, you guys need to make up your mind about a few things. Number one, is Anthony Davis good or not? Really, you guys got to make up your mind with this. If he plays well one game, oh, AD, man, he's going to be the difference maker. If he doesn't play up to the expectations, oh, man, AD, man, he needs to really figure out which one is. It's like, aren't y'all exhausted with this emotional roller coaster that you guys put yourself through? Aren't you exhausted? It's one game, right? The series is tied 1-1. All things being equal, you guys should go back and win game 3 and game 4 at home. Why? Because you have more talent than these guys. A lot of people are picking you guys, including me. I picked the Lakers, I believe, to win this series in 6 games. So the sky is not falling. But nevertheless, this was a blown opportunity. Anybody that tells you otherwise is an idiot. Because who wouldn't want to seize control of a series and go 2-up and say, no, it's fine. You're an idiot if you feel otherwise. It just means you're being disingenuous. In the case, for example, of the Clippers are playing against the other team with all their complement of players, their best players. So if they lose that game, it's not as big as a deal in terms of, well, what did you expect? They played them pretty close. But they're playing it with all their team. In the case of the Memphis Grizzlies, they're missing key players, and that should have been a game the Lakers should have seized control of. I don't believe the series is over, but it was a bad loss because, again, you could have been able to ensure that you have a shorter series, and now possibly this series may end up going 5 or 6 games. But anyway, that's what I predicted. So what I want to know from you guys is, what's your takeaway from this game 2? How do you see this thing playing out moving forward? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we catch you on the next show.